I just wanted to go ahead and glaze really quick. Just a darker tone on the sides, just so you can get a better feel for the color. Okay, and then Lukas, although this one is relatively dark already. Okay, and then Schmincke. So funny, I put a few drops of water in the Schmincke, and when I just picked it up right now, I thought it was going to be too watery. It's so concentrated. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look now that these are glazed so you can see how dark they are. So that's Schmincke. And then Winsor and Newton. And then Lukas. And now Schmincke looks darker, but it's just such a concentrated color, and I don't think it's necessarily more opaque than the others, but I put a few drops of water in, and when I picked the paint up, I thought it was going to be too watery, and then it just glazed down like that. So I'll probably try to lift some of it up. There. Just to get a better feeling of what it looks like, but you know, without making it look bad either. Okay. There we go. Okay. And I thought I would do some mixes with this color. I'm going to use Schmincke to do the mixes. I get so much pigment when I wipe my brush on this that it just gives me a lot darker color, and it makes doing the mixes easier because I don't like contaminating my wells. So the first one is going to be, I mixed, that is Da Vinci's Cobalt Turquoise. It's their PB28. It's basically a cobalt teal, but it's called Cobalt Turquoise. Okay, the square does not have to be perfect. Stop. And now I have Daniel Smith's Quinn Rose with, well, it's always going to be with Schmincke's Cobalt Green Deep. Or I don't know, I think they call it Cobalt Deep Green. I'm just gonna go with it. I know Schmincke is, their pans are super concentrated because they fill and dry them 4 times. So I actually think they're
more concentrated than their tube paints. So what should we mix this with? So this was starting to fall out, like it always is. French Ultramarine by Daniel Smith is going to be my next one. This one looks like it's going to be pretty. You know, you could use this as a cerulean. I want to make sure you can see. I've only ever gotten this color mixing French Ultramarine and Cobalt Teal, so that's interesting. It's much darker than what I mix with Cobalt Teal though. So a little bit over here. It's just a little bit different of a color. Okay, I want to try Potter's Pink, and I have Daniel Smith in my palette. It's right here, and I know it's hard to believe, but I actually prefer Potter's Pink by Daniel Smith dried, and I put a little bit down here, but you can kind of see how dark it is. I don't have any issues re-wetting it. It doesn't mean other people don't have issues re-wetting it. Just for me, it's not a problem. So it's really gray. That could be an interesting color. I like that a lot more on the paper than the way it looked on the palette. I'm going to do Dioxazine by Daniel Smith. I should probably show you that. So Dioxazine and that's a pretty blue. It looks like these kind of blues are going to be not too hard to get with this pigment. Now I want to add more of the Dioxazine just to see where we go from here. Okay. And yeah, you can see where there is more of the cobalt green deep because of this strong granulation, and there must have been more of the Dioxazine over there, or it's just lighter on that side. Okay, so what else? I'm not really a big yellow person, but I'm gonna try. I have a Holbein. What is this? Permanent Yellow Lemon. That's what it is. So let's do the Holbein Permanent Yellow Lemon. This is actually my favorite yellow. And I probably won't need as much of the green. So now we have it bright. So let's see if we have bright and granulating. Yep, we do. Schmincke has a, is it a
a PG19. It's a cobalt green that they have. It's one of the colors that they've used in a few of the new super granulating sets that they just released. And it's a little bright for me. I didn't want to, get it to be able to make my own. But I think you could use this to make that and then mix the colors that you want, if that makes sense. I just don't want to pay that much for a cobalt if I just don't really like it. It's just so weird to see such a granulating color that is so close to yellow. Okay. Now, what else should we do? I want to do it with something darker. I'm going to do Sodalite by Daniel Smith. I'm going to see how these two work together. I'm sorry you're not seeing some of the mixing. It's because the palette's in my left hand. Okay, so I just put the Sodalite down. And I may need to add more. I'm going to add a little more Sodalite before I do a swatch. I just want to really dry my brush. Okay, Sodalite. There we go. Okay. This is a very cool color. Wow, that's so pretty. It a tiny bit reminds me of Blue Appetite Genuine, but it's too green. So I think they have maybe Mayan Blue is maybe what it's closer to. Oh, that's too close to the last swatch. That one ended up really cool. Okay, so I think we have room for a few more swatches. Sodalite worked well. Let me try. I have Daniel Smith's Indenthrone. So I want to try that, and that is right here. So it's right here. Okay. Okay, that should be good with the Indenthrone. And then I'm gonna put the green kind of to the side so I don't overwhelm it. I can kind of add it as I go. Okay, that looks kind of nice. Okay, so that's giving us a lot deeper of a blue. That's pretty. I love blues and violets so much. I don't know how many landscapes I've done with just blue, violet, and maybe a little bit of like perylene green. Okay, I want to mix this. This is the same too. I just want to see if it, yeah, okay. It's coming out differently. I just mixed everything together. Right there. might actually be my favorite so far. So that's the Daniel Smith Indent Throne, and then the Schmincke Cobalt Green Deep. So the last one I want to do is I'm going to do M. Graham's Prussian blue, and because it has sort of a teal color to it, and then the Cobalt Green Deep, obviously. So let's see how these two go together. It takes so little pushing my brush on the top of that full pan, that Schmincke full pan. It's just amazing how concentrated they are. Okay, this is looking very pretty. Add a little bit more blue. I feel like there's a lot more range with this mix. It's like a green blue. It's too close to the one I did at the beginning. Okay. Yeah, I think that's just these. Okay. Okay, so I think that is it. I think this is a really, really useful color, actually. I don't think anyone really knew about it until they started looking at the pigments of the Schmincke Super Granulating tubes, only because they wanted to try to mix them on their own. But hopefully this color gets more popular, because I think it really is a nice color, and just with all that granulation, it would just, it's so great for landscapes and so many different things. And you can get something like this without adding black. And this almost makes me think of what you would get with like a dusk yellow. Not, I mean, the dusk yellow is much, much deeper, but with those dark little speckles at the bottom, and all you're mixing is a green and a yellow. So I think that's really cool. So I think it's the bottom one. Okay. So actually, I'm going to go back up and just hold it up so I have a little bit more control. These are the mixes. So that's the yellow I was talking about. Okay, so those are the mixes we got with Cobalt Green Deep. I hope this video is helpful, and I will see you next time.